All right, good afternoon. My name is Sharon Duffy. I am the Research Services Librarian. I'm here today with Rowan Mary, our Public Services Librarian. And today we're here to present on the new CINAHL and EBSCO, let me just read the title. Meet the new CINAHL and EBSCO databases search page. Here's what's changed this year. So I want to note that EBSCO did a major update to their interface page last year, and Rowan and I did a presentation about that. So this is a an update on the update. So we're going to focus just on mostly what's changed in this. It's not as significant of an update. It's a more minor update. We plan to just use our slides and look at screenshots. If somebody has a question and wants to look at something live, we can jump into the database. But primarily, we're going to stick to our slides. But feel free to ask any questions. And the slides have been shared in the chat, and they will be sent to all people who register for the Zoom afterwards. Okay. All right, so here's an outline. I'm going to cover the general update to the user interface. You know, what's changed. We'll look at the basic search page. I'm going to talk about the My EBSCO account and the new filter list that they have now and the new pagination feature. Then Rowan is going to cover the advanced search features, primarily in CINAHL, how to access the CINAHL subject headings, how to manage the search results, exporting, and the few changes that have been made over the past year. And then we'll have time for questions and share our contact information. All right, so what is the EBSCO host user interface? So EBSCO host is the platform that is used to access databases such as CINAHL, SocINDEX, APA PsycInfo, Academic Search Complete, the ebooks hosted by EBSCO, and other EBSCO content. So the major updates that they've made this time are they've eliminated the left-hand navigation menu and they've moved that to the top, and they've kind of rearranged some of the tools. So some of them now reside in the My EBSCO menu. When you're in the results page, there's a new filter panel on the left-hand side with a lot more extensive options. And then they've added a pagination feature at the bottom of the results page. So there is a link in the slides to jump directly to the or to our database page to get to the EBSCO platform. But if you access any of these databases such as CINAHL, you will see this new user interface. It went live July 7th. All right, so here's the new basic search page. When you come into it, this is what you're going to see. So if you were a previous user, there used to be all the tools on the left-hand side. So they've moved all that up to the top now. On the basic search, there's a few options for some quick filters. If you click on full text, that's only going to retrieve articles where full text is available. You can select to only receive peer-reviewed results. That's important because a lot of these databases include things like magazines and other not reviewed literature. So if you know you only want that, you can limit by that right away. And then you can also limit by dates right from the start. There's a couple of quick options here, or you can specify a date range. Also, I should note that they still have this, they call it AI assisted search. Previously, this was called the natural language search. It's the same. Essentially what this allows you to do is just type in a question like you would into like a Google search, like what is the impact of, steroids on inflammation or something like that. It's that AI assisted search. You would have to turn it on to activate it. And then the My EBSCO menu is up here, and I will talk about that on a future slide. But that's generally what the new page looks like. Also, always note it'll tell you what database you are searching. If you're in a different one, you'll see a different one. You can search more than one at a time, and you'll see that as well. All right, so the new navigation panel. So this is what they have on the top now. So now when you click on new search, anytime you're anywhere within the database, it returns you to that basic search page to begin a new search. So if you just kind of want to start over kind of thing, go there. It kind of brings you back to the beginning. The browse by will open up to this submenu where you can look at publications. So this will allow you to browse the publications in the database by title. So these on the browse by menu, these all open up on the same page, just a lower part of the screen. When you first come into the basic, there's a lot of white space. It just opens up in the lower part of the screen. So it's just the publications that are inside that database. If you're in a non-CINAHL subject heading or database, you will see the subject headings there. You can browse them for this database. I think I was in Academic Search Complete. So I can look at those subject headings. And then CINAHL, if you're in CINAHL, you will see a place to go browse CINAHL headings. So that's an easy way to get to those features. If you click on Research Tools, you'll move over to this menu. We have one drop-down option to look at the eBooks and eJournals A to Z list. So this will launch a new tab to look at those, to essentially take you to our ebook and eJournal list. And then other resources also take you to different web pages. They'll take you to the designated database or our homepage for our research guides or for EBSCO help. So again, these are just kind of handy tools. This is really the only place to find the EBSCO help. So if you want to get help with navigating or using it, just remember to look under other resources.
So
yes.
EBSCO.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss like a, because you were saying if you're in CINAHL, if
Yep.
you're Academic Search Complete, like I guess I'm confused.
They will look the same. The only thing that is going to be different is right here. It'll identify which database you're in. But whether you're in Academic Search Complete or you're in CINAHL or you're in APA PsycInfo, this all looks the same. The only thing this is different right here. It does tell you what you're in.
You're still picking your database.
Yes.
It's the EBSCO, it just means that these various databases, CINAHL, Academic Search Complete, PsycInfo, they all belong to the same platform and all have the same homepage.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You got it exactly right. So usually people enter by the database. They don't enter by EBSCO. Generally, people just jump into CINAHL, and this is what's going to look like for them. Or if you jump into PsycInfo, it's going to look like this. Okay. Okay, now about the My EBSCO account. So they've even made this more important for accessing a lot of the features in their databases. So when you come in on the home screen, you'll see this My EBSCO with a little sign-in prompt. So before you sign in, you'll see this and this little person here to sign in. And then after you sign in, you'll see your name and these new tools. So if you're a previous user, you'll recognize that these folders used to be on that left-hand navigation panel. So now you access project folders, save searches, look at your recent activity from your My EBSCO. So you really need to be signed in to even access or look at any of those. You also need to be signed in if you want to email results or export to a citation manager. So it's generally just good to get in the habit right away of just signing in as soon as you get there. It's a free personal account. If you have another EBSCO account, it's probably the same one. So it's good to just get in the habit of just using it right away, because that way you won't run into the block of not being able to export or email your results or save anything while you're in there. All right, so now when you do a search, this is the new basic search results page. The main thing here is there's this new expanded filter panel on the left-hand side. I have another screen where I'll show more details of what all they offer on that now. Also over here, you can expand your display. The default is going to show you 10 results at a time. You can go up to 50. You can sort only by relevance or data publication, either being newest or oldest. So those you would select over here. And then the access options menu has also changed. They have kind of they've been integrated with LibKey Nomad, but now you'll see some of those links on there. So let's go look at some of these other options. So the additional access options. So when you see a result and you want to get to the full text, you open up this and you see a lot of choices. So hopefully I can help explain what they will do for you. So if you click on PDF, it will launch a downloadable PDF, assuming that they have it within their platform. If you do the online full text, it'll take you to the HTML version. So again, this is something that, it will look like a PDF, but then you can download it as a second step. This one just looks like an HTML. If you click on this LibKey Instant PDF, it will download the PDF for you. So it's kind of a one click and then boom, you own it. So that's a little difference between those two. These two are kind of the same, these quick links or this check for available full text, they take you to our libkey resolver page, where you can either choose to download the PDF or link to the publisher page. If you're a libkey nomad user, you'll recognize that page. If you click on complete issue, it'll launch you to Browsine, which is another product. And what it does is it shows you kind of the whole issue of the journal, and it shows you your article within that table of contents of the current issue or whatever issue it is. If we don't have access to it, if you're not able to access the full text, you'll see a box that looks like this where it says check for available full text, and that will link you to our page to request the article using our interlibrary loan service. So we do always recommend using libkey nomad. If you've attended our other sessions, you know we always talk about this tool. It's a browser extension that just connects with our library collection and gives you quick instant access to our PDFs and to our full text. So if you're not already using it, I put a link in there to access it and download. All right, now back to the filters list. So when you go to the results, now you'll see a lot more filter options right here on this page. They used to be a little off to the side or in other menus, but now they're all here. So there's some quick ones at the top. You can, similar to how you had on the front page of the basic search, you can only see full text. You can see only peer reviewed. You can do a quick English language, or only where abstracts or references are available. So this is the full list. You can go by publication date, the database, if you want to look for specific subject heading, language, age, geography. So there's a lot more options. One thing I do like, when you click on one of these and expand it, it will tell you how many from your results set are in each category. So I do like that. It drops it down just into a menu below. I just blew it out here to the side so you could see it. So that's all your new filter options right here on your results page. So based on user feedback, they added that. And then the other big change they made was they have now added pagination to the bottom of each results page. In the previous version, so I have my thing set to 50. On here, instead of giving me pages to jump to, it would just say load more results, and I would just click and it would load another 50. But if I'm looking for something by date and I want to jump ahead, or I want to go see, if I'm doing a search, I want to see which ones are the least relevant, I can more now jump around in the results set. So that's a nice feature that they added. And then lastly, they did not make any major changes to the detailed record page. So when you click on an article, this pretty much looks the same. These icons, I always feel need a little explanation. If you click on this, you will save the article within the platform. This one will give you the citation and allow you to export. Here's where you can add it to a project folder. The arrow is where you can link it or share it with a link or via email. And then the last one is where you can download the article, like for a citation manager. So I always think those are a little bit cryptic, but those are pretty much unchanged. All right, if you have any questions up to this point, and then I'll hand it over to Rowan to cover the rest.
All right. Next screen. Okay. My section will cover kind of the advanced search features in CINAHL. This will get fairly in-depth fairly quickly. This is maybe a bit more for kind of your CINAHL power users or your EBSCO power users. Most of this will translate across the various databases hosted by EBSCO, but I am focusing on CINAHL just because it's the one I use the most often, to be perfectly honest, but the vast majority of this will be pretty much the same. Less has changed dramatically at this point, and Sharon has covered most of the major changes, but there are a few nice little tweaks, in my opinion, that have kind of improved some features of this, and especially when it comes to exporting results and being able to deal with slightly larger result sets. So from the basic search screen, here's how you get to the advanced search. This is exactly the same. You've just got your little advanced search link above the search bar here on the right. And again, it will remind you which database you are searching at this time. If you do want to change it, just click there and it'll pull up the full list of all the databases hosted in EBSCO. And you can select one or more different databases. Once you open the advanced search, though, this is the screen you'll see. It's that same one that same as before, and fairly similar to the old interface too, where you've got your separate lines where you can separate out different concepts, different terms, and add your Boolean operators to separate them. Below them, you have this list here of filters, search options, publications, and CINAHL headings. You just click on the tab you want to set different preferences for those. If you scroll down, you will see these pages are much longer. Here's kind of the full list of things that show up under their search filters. This is one thing that is worth noting, and because some of these search filters, Sharon showed that there's that when you search and are looking at your result set, there is now that left-hand menu that includes some search filters. It does not include quite all of these. And especially in CINAHL, some of the really convenient ones are basically only available from that front advanced search screen. CINAHL has some custom filters like the any author is a nurse, for example, that are one of the things that people often come to CINAHL specifically for. So the only place to get to that filter list is from that advanced search screen and to make that selection there. So just be aware of that. That's the same from the last update. It's just something that I almost always find myself clicking wrong, so I like to remind other people about it. On the search options tab, this is basically the same as it was before, except that, again, as Sharon mentioned, where it used to say natural language search, they've replaced that with AI assisted search. It's the same functionality. They've just basically relabeled the name. I will mention the smart text searching. This was new in that last update. Thank you. And that basically allows you to paste in a large sample of text and search. Like you could drop a whole abstract in there or a paragraph from a protocol or something, and it will kind of pull out keywords and search. One thing that is different this time, although that's more because of customizations that we have enlisted Becky to work with EBSCO to make for us. We have changed the proximity search. Before it was proximity search in the sense that it would search for words in immediate proximity to each other, so right next to each other. In discussion with our fellow librarians, we're kind of like, the proximity indicator I use most often is things that are separated by 3 words. Is kind of often what we find ourselves doing. So we've set the proximity search to do that. So if you say hip pain, exactly, it'll find these words in any order and separated by up to 3 words. So it would also find pain in the hip, for example. So if you select that proximity search, that's how it will, and put in 2 terms, that's how it will function. One note about proximity search and find all of my search terms and find any of my search terms, all of those are things that you can select here in search modes, but you can also, if you are an advanced user, shall we say, you can enter all of those manually by just using Boolean operators, by using your proximity indicator. So if you are comfortable with those things, you can manually add those to your search and not use the search modes at all. The default here is find all of my search terms, which basically functions with the Boolean operator and. So, okay. This is, again, the same as the last update, but new in the last update. So I am going to just mention it again. The subject headings is another one of those tabs there available under the advanced search. And this just allows you to kind of search for a term and see if it is in the subject headings of whatever database you're using. Again, I'm using CINAHL, so these are based on their subject headings. These subject headings lists will be different database to database, especially like APA PsycInfo. If you are searching for a mental health condition, they have much more granular terms as far as like different types of mental health concerns. Whereas maybe in CINAHL, it might just be a broad like anxiety disorders or something like that. But in APA PsycInfo, it would be much more specific underneath. So those will vary database to database, but basically you can search whatever their subject headings list is, and you can select items from it. And then over here at the top of that, If you click add to search, you can select, I meant to put a box around this, but you can select the Boolean operator you want and then click add to search, and it will just drop those into the search fields. I'll show you on the next screen, and it will format them according to, with the correct field tag for a subject heading search. Here's just kind of more, a little bit more explication, because it is a little bit confusing how you get into potential subheadings versus narrower subject headings. So again, as Sharon said, I always click wrong the first time and then have to redo it, but that's why there's a detailed slide with a lot of arrows. But once you click, there is also an explode option if you do want to include, kind of all terms under a broader term. But here's kind of what you'll see once you put those things in the search. In the case of CINAHL, it will default to the field tag MH, which is major subject heading. In a lot of other databases, it will default to the DE, which is a subject term. It varies a little bit database to database, but basically generally whatever it drops in there for you and formats will be probably the subject heading term you want to use. You can also use these different search fields separately and, put one term per field and then select a field tag from the dropdown and then select your Boolean operators here. It's basically kind of up to you and how you like to do things. Search history. It's a little confusing. It's another one where I often click wrong the first time. You have to be on the search results page to see the search history drop-down menu. It won't show up if you go to a fresh advanced search. You won't see your search history. You have to search something and then it will appear underneath. And it does have this little arrow next to it so that you can expand or hide your search history. And then if you expand it, you will see all of your searches below. This is a page that does have a new feature. It has this Save Search Set button, which will basically save your whole search history into your saved area.
If you chose, instead of breaking down your search terms into each individual line, if you chose to do it like we have there, what does the MH mean?
Major heading. That's the field tag for major subject heading.
So you would need to include that. You wouldn't put hypoxia brain or oxygen saturation or hypoxia or apnea.
I mean, you could. You don't have to put a field tag in it all. It'll what does it default to if you do no field tag? Just all fields.
All
Yeah.
fields. Yeah. All
Yeah.
fields.
So it's up to you.
Yeah.
I think these were ones that I had brought in from the subject list, so it automatically adds it. You don't have to. Again, that's, kind of advanced tricks, or like if you were searching for something like XB for desaturation and hypoxia or apnea, that is title and abstract. So I'm kind of saying like, I don't want you searching. I mean, it's not searching full text anyway, but that I want to limit it. I want this term specifically to be in the title and abstract, because sometimes it'll find things in like a reference or something and put it in there. So
Right. And the MH appears when you pull it from the subject heading list.
right. That's that those were probably automatically
You back up a
applied.
slide, you
Yeah.
back up a slide.
Like here. If I've
Yeah.
selected here and then added
Yeah.
them to search,
That's
it will
where those-
automatically add that
We
image.
don't have to do that either. We pull them from there.
I speak for yourself.
I will speak to myself.
But yeah. But yeah, it's not required. You don't have to do that. You can just put
Put
in
the terms in.
terms, say and. Yeah, exactly. If you want to combine multiple searches, I often like to do kind of all of my terms about one concept in one search, and then all of my terms about another concept. So here I've combined ones about like oxygenation with terms about patient positioning. I can combine those separate searches from my search history by selecting the boxes. And this is a change that's not new, but it is after the last time we did this presentation. They've made this a little clearer. It used to be kind of a confusing little confluence button. Now it says combine these terms with and or combine with or. And so you just select the boxes for the searches you wish to combine. And then if you click combine with and, it will combine them and put them together. You can see it's kind of a little small here, but you can see it's got S1 and S2. It'll abbreviate it to be search 1 and search 2. and then put them there, and then you just click search. A little tip is to always, before you do that, make sure to clear any old searches from the search bar, because CINAHL will hold whatever the last thing you searched is up here. So it can get kind of, if you hit combine searches and then search, and then it seems like the results don't make sense, you've probably still got an old search text hanging out. So try to remember to hit, those little clear all, or like the little X to clear. Okay. Dealing with your results, you've got a couple of different ways to save your search results. You have projects and you have saved. Again, these are both under your little My EBSCO drop down here. There's a little bit of differences, and there's a little bit of benefit to each one. Projects, you can kind of create like basically kind of a little project folder, and you can save both item records of specific articles, and you can also save searches in there. One thing that's nice is that you can put them together in a little folder. You can give them names. You can give them due dates if you're working on a specific project. So there's a little more organization within your projects. Saved is similar, where you can both export searches, you can export records, and this is also where those search sets, if you choose to save those that I mentioned on a previous slide, that's where those would live. Unlike projects, though, you don't have any organizational tools, so you can't kind of group things together. It's just sort of any article record you have saved is just in one big list, regardless of the topic. I did, but yeah, if you just in case though, saving search set from your search history, if you click save search set, it will give you an option to name it, and then it will save basically your whole search history from whatever that session was. Okay, exporting results, there's a little bit of a change here. As Sharon mentioned, in your item record, you can click, cite to export a citation to a citation manager like RefWorks or EndNote or something like that. You can also export bulk citations by either in your results page, selecting the checkboxes next to the article, or if you want to select a big bulk of them, you can click the checkbox kind of at the very top of the list, which will be all of the results on that page. If you want more than just a page worth of results, though, if you click that little down arrow, you can see I have some options here. I have all on this page. I have the first 50 results, or now I have the first 500 results. This is new. Before, you were stuck with only 50 results. Now, as long as you're logged in, you can export up to 500 results without, like, just directly from EBSCO. So that's another reason to go ahead and bite the bullet and set up an EBSCO account, not just for the ability to save and stuff, but you can this way export larger amounts of results. And this will just basically, if you say select 500, it'll bring you to kind of a page where you can select the format you want to export it in. It does also have some direct export tools to like RefWorks or EndNote Web, or you can download an RIS file. It's got several different options there. And it'll just download those either directly into the citation manager you've chosen, or as a download on your computer. If you want to do a full result set, though, and you have more than 500 items, so, the search I'm working on right now is giving me around 7,000. If I want to export all 7,000 of those, it won't let me do it directly from the EBSCO database. I will have to say export results up to 25,000. Here is the last option on that. If I select all results, it won't let me just download them directly. It will ask me to put in my email address and select the format, and then it will email me a link to download that full result set when ready. So it's a little bit of an extra step, but at least they've increased that that number that you can do directly to 500. When it was just 50, that was a little burdensome. So this is a definite improvement. Any questions about any of the advanced search features? And if not, this is our contact information, our plea for a survey, and some links to some of our library socials, and sign up for emails. So